Now here we start the topic of matrices. Firstly, let us see the definition of a matrix. It is a rectangular arrangement of elements enclosed within square brackets. So as shown here, an example of a matrix, typically the matrices are denoted by capital letters. So here let A be the matrix as shown here. Now here we can see that it is what is called as a 2 by 3 matrix, that is there are 2 rows and 3 columns. So this is called as the order of the matrix, right? The row and column number, that is called as the order of the matrix. Now as a notation, Aij represents an element of the matrix which comes in ith row and jth column. So that is how we denote any general element of a matrix, right? Now let's move ahead and see various types of matrices that we'll be dealing frequently in the examples. Now the first one is what is called as a row matrix. As the name suggests, row matrix is nothing but it's the matrix in which there is only one row. Similarly, the second one is a column matrix, which is nothing but a matrix in which there is just one column. The number of rows could be anything. Thirdly, we have a zero matrix, also called as a null matrix. Now once again, it is self-evident that all the elements of the matrix, when they are zero, then it is called as a zero matrix or a null matrix. Now let's see a couple of more types. The fourth one is the square matrix. Now by the square matrix we mean the number of rows and columns are equal. So it is a square array. So if you remember, as per definition, a matrix need not always be a square, that is in general it is a rectangular array. But when the number of rows and column are same, that is we can say that it is an n by n array, then we call that as a square matrix, right? Now moving on, we have what is called as upper triangular and lower triangular matrix. Now it is important to understand this particular definition because it can be a bit confusing. The upper triangular matrix is that in which the elements which are below the diagonal line. Now we know what is a diagonal, like it is similar to the determinant, that is this particular line which runs through the element from top left to the bottom right, that is called as the diagonal. Now if all the elements which come below the diagonal, they are all zero, then that particular matrix is called as upper triangular matrix. Now it's important to note that we don't have anything to say about the elements in the diagonal as well as the elements which are above the diagonal. Okay, some of them might be zero or all of them could be non-zero. What matters is the elements below the diagonal should be all zeros. Alright. So similarly we have the definition for a lower triangular matrix as we can anticipate. That is, suppose we consider a diagonal, then the lower triangular matrix is that in which the elements above the diagonal are all zeros. And we don't care about the other elements whether they are zero or non-zero. Alright, so this is the definition of lower triangular matrix. Now let's go ahead to further types. Now the next one is what is called as a diagonal matrix. Now here on we will see the more and more specialized types of a square matrix only. So a diagonal matrix is nothing but a square matrix which we can think of as a combination of lower as well as upper triangular matrices. So that means if you see the elements above the diagonal are 0 as well as elements below the diagonal are 0. Alright. So this is the diagonal matrix. Now we can also give the definition of diagonal matrix in a symbolic form. That is, we know that for the elements in the diagonal, the row number I is equal to the column number j, isn't it? Whereas for the elements which are not in the diagonal, that is in the upper triangle or in the lower triangle, we know that the row number is not equal to the column number. Now as per the definition of diagonal matrix, we want the non-diagonal elements to be 0. So therefore we can say that Aij is equal to 0 when I is not equal to j, and whereas if I is equal to j, then the elements may be 0 or may not be 0. So therefore here we don't comment anything about whether the zeros exist in diagonal or not. Okay. The only minimum definition is if I is not equal to j, then the element must be equal to 0. Right? So that's the another symbolic way of defining a diagonal matrix. Now moving on, we have the next type, that is a scalar matrix. Now here we see that it is a specialized form of diagonal matrix only. That is, a scalar matrix is a diagonal matrix, but now here the additional condition is that all the elements in the diagonal must be same. They all must be identical. So when it's the case, that is called as a scalar matrix. Right? So here also we can define in the same way, that is, when I is not equal to j, we want the elements to be equal to 0. That is the first condition, because that is required for the diagonal matrix itself basically. So here when I not equal to j, we have aij to be equal to 0. Now here when I is equal to j, that is when we are referring to the elements in the diagonal. Now here we will write that aij, that is nothing but the element in the diagonal, is equal to, say, some constant k. Now therefore here we are referring to the all elements in general to be equal to some constant k. Right? So that is the scalar matrix. Now moving on, we have a very important matrix called as identity matrix or a unit matrix. Now this is a special case of scalar matrix. That is, it's a scalar matrix in which all the diagonal elements are specifically having the value as 1. Okay, so here we see the diagonal elements are all 1, and of course all the other elements are 0. Now the identity matrix is typically denoted by a capital letter I, and based on the order of the matrix we write the number as a suffix. So this particular example is of I3, that is identity matrix of order 3. We can also have the identity matrix of order 2, that is we may have just 1, 0, 0 and 1. Alright, so that will be called as nothing but I2. So that's the matrix of order 2. Now let's move ahead to other types. Now here we have what is called as a symmetric matrix. Now as the name suggests, there is some kind of symmetry involved here. Now let's see, here we have highlighted the elements of a diagonal. Now if you think of diagonal as a kind of mirror, and if we take the pair of corresponding elements, right, if the pair of those elements has the same elements, that is 3, 3, -2, -2 and 4, 4, then that matrix is called as a symmetric matrix. So because there is a symmetry around the diagonal. Right. Now here the symbolic way to define the symmetric matrix is that Aij should be equal to Aj, which is nothing but whenever we interchange the row and column number, we are basically getting the element which is in the mirror position of the original element. And if these two elements are same, then it means the matrix is a symmetric matrix. Right. So as an example here, we have 3, which is nothing but the element A12, and this another 3 is nothing but the element A21. So here we see that the row and column numbers are interchanged. Right. Now moving on, we have a skew symmetric matrix. Now here the definition is if Aij is equal to minus of Aji. So that means the elements which are in the corresponding mirror images of each other, they should be having the opposite signs. So let us consider that this is the diagonal, and we can see that 1 and -1 is a pair of elements. Then similarly we have 2 and -2, and lastly we have 3 and minus 3. So we see that in each of these pairs, the elements are of opposite signs. But one important thing to note, that as a consequence of this definition, what happens to the elements of the diagonal itself? That is, suppose we consider that elements of a diagonal, and the first element is say A11. Now you know that for the elements in the diagonal, the row number and column number are obviously same, that is I and j must be same. So here we have A11 whose mirror image is nothing but A11 only. Now if we want that element to be the negative of itself, the only value that it can have is nothing but the 0, because 0 is the only real number which can be thought of as negative of itself. So therefore, in a skew symmetric matrix, the diagonal elements are always 0. So it is very important to note that in a skew symmetric matrix, the diagonal is all 0. Now let's go ahead and see one more very important terminology related to a matrix, that is called as a determinant of a matrix, and especially we must have a square matrix to have a determinant. Now let's consider some square matrix. Here we have an example of 2 by 2 matrix with some numbers given here. Now by determinant we simply mean that if we write those 4 numbers in a determinant form, that is, instead of writing them in a square bracket, if we write them as a determinant, then this is what is called as the determinant of matrix A, and that is denoted as A enclosed within 2 vertical lines. Alright. Now since this is a determinant, we can evaluate the determinant and get the value. So here we see that the product of 2 and 3 is 6 minus the product of 1 and minus 1 is minus 1, so which gives us 7. So this is the value of the determinant of the original square matrix. Now remember that the matrix itself does not have any value as such. It is only the determinant which gets evaluated to certain value. Alright. Now based on this, we define 2 more types of a square matrix, that is either a singular or a non-singular matrix. Now by singular we mean that if determinant of that matrix turns out to be 0, then that matrix is called as a singular matrix. And on the other hand, if that determinant is not equal to 0, then the matrix is a non-singular matrix.